I'm Katie J, and your Skyline Scoop starts right now. First off, let's congratulate the Skyline Raider Band on winning the Battle of the Bands. Y'all already know Skyline got the best band in Dallas. I don't want to hear nothing or no negativity. Thank you. Seniors, Logan's Photography has extended the deadline to take your senior pictures. It is this Saturday. So between here and there, if you ain't took your senior pictures, you need to go ahead and take them ASAP. Please call Logan's Photography today and make an appointment. Now let's take a look at Weather with Abe.
Hi, I'm Abe. Welcome to Weather with Abe. Today is Tuesday, October 1st. It's spooky season, boys. The highest today will be 95 with a low of 74. On Wednesday, October 2nd, the highest will be 95 with a low of 74. That's all we have for today, Raiders. Catch us tomorrow for more weather updates. Back to you, Katie.
Here's today's lunch menu.
Today's menu will be tortellini, original or spicy chicken tenders, and cheeseburgers. If those don't interest you, there will also be a turkey cheese sandwich. For your sides, there will be corn, cucumbers, broccoli, blueberries, and pears. To drink, there will be milk and juice. Have a nice lunch, Raiders.
Now for Timely Topics with Liz.
I'm Elizabeth from Skyline, and I'm with
Chris Arellano, and I'm a junior.
What do you think about the new iPhone?
The new iPhone, it just isn't cool, or like it doesn't look good. And like most people have seen, it looks like mitosis. So, yeah.
Amy,
What do you think about the new iPhone?
I think it looks like a spider. It got too many cameras. Too many cameras. But I mean, it has good camera quality. But I don't know. I mean, I like it. It's cool. It's nice. But it has too many cameras.
Marcus Williams, 11th grade.
Kevin Hayes, 12th grade.
What do you think about the new iPhone?
I think that mud hit.
I think the 3 cameras, it makes it better for photographers to take better photos and capture the moments they want to capture.
True that. Come back. And then, you know, if you're a pretty boy, like your boy here, you like to take pictures, so you need that good camera quality and the lenses, you know, contrasting and stuff.
Leslie Avila, and I'm a junior.
What do you think about the new iPhone?
Honestly, I saw the picture and I was like, that looks stupid. But now I keep looking at it now, like I really want the phone. Even though I'm broke and I don't got no money in my bank account.
Tonya, and I'm in the 11th grade. Tiana, and I'm in the 11th grade.
What do you think about the new iPhone?
For starters, it got too many cameras, but it's cute or whatever. I like the blue one. It's cute.
Are y'all gonna get it?
That's 3 of my chicks.
So are y'all gonna get it?
I mean, when that joint bumped down to like 600, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a while from now, but probably in like a couple months, I'll purchase it, a couple months.
Or I get a job.
Are you gonna get it?
Yes, I'm still going to get it. Just because it has 3 cameras. That's why I'm going to get it.
Thank you.
Let's take a look at today's A segment.
Here in the United States, we have a government. That government is regulated by the Constitution of the United States, and the Constitution doesn't always make everyone happy. So we have these things called amendments that help us periodically tweak, or amend, our Constitution to help keep up with the times, kind of like software updates. So what are these amendments? So the first 2 amendments are perhaps the most famous of them all, particularly the second for its controversiality. The US Constitution actually has 27 amendments. 27! How many guns do you even need? Amendments can be either made by Congress and voted by 2/3 of each House, the Senate and Representatives, and 3/4 of the state legislatures, or the state legislatures can call for a constitutional convention, although the latter has never happened. Here are my attempts to explain them all one by one, and hopefully dumb them down in the way that at least I can personally understand them. The 27 amendments can range in all sorts of areas, including the First Amendment, established in 1791, which establishes the rights to freedom of religion, speech, press, assembly, and petition. This means that Americans can practice any religion, or lack thereof, speak their mind, newspapers can talk about whatever, groups can assemble for protests, and Americans can make petitions for the government. The Second Amendment, also in 1791, establishes the right to bear arms. This amendment has come under heavy fire, pun partially intended, in recent years, as to the advent of mass shootings, and the NRA. The amendment was established with a, quote, well-regulated militia in mind, as America, of course, wasn't quite the superpower it is today, but a small, scrappy collection of states that had only recently become a country. The Third Amendment establishes that, during a time of peace, soldiers cannot be quartered in someone's household, unless consent is given by the homeowner. So if the US government wanted to station some US Army troops in my house, essentially living here, then unless our country is at war, I have the right to say, guys, what the hell are you doing here? Go find a Motel 6. The Fourth Amendment protects Americans against unfair and unreasonable searches and seizures of property. This means that if the police or the government wanted to search through my house and search my stuff and my messages, then they will need a warrant and or reasonable cause for suspicion in advance. So if the police just broke into my house to search my stuff and take my stuff, and they didn't have a warrant, or a good reason, then no, they actually can't just break into my house like that. Don't do that. The Fifth Amendment is famous for the well-known phrase, I plead the Fifth. This basically establishes the right to remain silent, i.e., not to say anything that would incriminate yourself. It also establishes that private property cannot be taken by the government without just compensation. This is called eminent domain. The Sixth Amendment basically guarantees the right to a speedy public trial overseen by a neutral jury from the state and district that the crime was committed in. This is what would make that one part of Idaho an interesting place to take your exes and rivals. Well, okay, if you wanted to murder someone in Idaho, just do it. Who even lives there? Seriously. Sorry, what were we talking about? The Seventh Amendment establishes the right to trial by jury, which is the cornerstone of the American legal system. This is the reason why Americans are often shocked to hear about how some countries, like Germany, don't use juries. Oh, and also it makes it so that once a case has been seen by a jury, the exact same case cannot be re-seen. The decision is final, for better or for worse. The Eighth Amendment protects against excess bail, fines, or cruel and unusual punishment. Basically, it's a giant calm down sign for law enforcement. So if I, for example, say, accidentally swore in a video and the authorities decided they didn't like that, and if I were then fined $9,500, was then thrown in prison and forced to eat toothpaste, all the while the Multnomah County Prison charged $84 million in bail for my release, then that would be completely unreasonable. And thankfully, the 8th agrees with me, because seriously, who the f would even do? The Ninth Amendment is pretty interesting. It's essentially a safeguard against rights not specifically listed in the Constitution. The way I at least interpret this is, if the government, say, tried to invade my privacy, that wouldn't be allowed, despite the right to privacy not being an official constitutional right. As far as I understand it, just the fact that it obviously should have been is enough. I'm not a lawyer though, so don't kill me. The 10th Amendment established that the states have the right to govern themselves and that the federal government could only do to the states what the Constitution said it could do. This has allowed for states to legalize things deemed federally illegal, most famously cannabis. Not to be confused with cannabis. Now what's important to realize is that these first 10 amendments were all actually put into place in 1791, and this is because these 10 amendments are actually the amendments that make up the US Bill of Rights. So if you wanted to be all picky about it, you could say that the US Constitution has only 17 amendments in addition to the Bill of Rights, except I'm an American and I'm not going to go around saying that anytime soon, and I wouldn't advise you do the same. The 11th Amendment, established in 1795, basically makes it so that one cannot sue a state for something if you don't live in it. It's basically a way of saying, hey, you don't live here, this is none of your business. The 12th Amendment was established in 1804. Now you know roughly how US presidential elections work, like with the Electoral College and the delegates and the losing the popular vote occasionally and stuff like that? Well, yeah, no one really does, but yeah, that was all the work of the 12th. The 13th Amendment, put into place in 1865, abolished slavery in the US in the wake of the Civil War. Now, keep watch, you might notice a pattern with the next two. The 14th Amendment, effective 1868, was a big one, and established actually a lot of things, but by far the most important was that it established what a US citizen is, i.e., black people are also citizens now. The 15th Amendment, established in 1870, now allowed men of any race or color to vote. How progressive. The 16th Amendment, made effective in 1913, was taxing for the U.S. Congress to establish, and now quite taxing on us, as it gave Congress the power to collect income taxes. The 17th Amendment, also made effective in 1913, established direct popular voting when voting for people like senators, as opposed to the Electoral College we use to elect our presidents. The 18th Amendment, put into effect in 1919, made alcohol illegal nationwide. This was the start of the infamous Prohibition era, which banned the manufacturing or importing of alcoholic beverages in the U.S. for the 1920s. That's right, Prohibition wasn't just national law, it was part of our Constitution. The 19th Amendment was also established in 1919. Funny how that worked out. And yeah, you remember how I said that the 15th allowed all men to vote? Yeah, women couldn't vote until the 19th Amendment was passed. So that took care of that. The 20th Amendment, established in 1933, established the commencement of presidential terms and succession. This basically moved the inauguration day from the 4th of March, when it was warm enough for stagecoaches to get to DC, to the 20th of January, closer to the start of the year. The 21st Amendment was actually the amendment that repealed the 18th Amendment, and was also put into place in 1933, and made alcohol legal again in the US, even though 1933 probably wasn't the best year to take up drinking. By the way, a useful way to remember which amendments applied to Prohibition is to remember how 18-year-old Americans cannot drink alcohol and have to wait until they're 21 despite being legal adults. I've heard exchange students hate this. The 22nd Amendment was put into effect in 1951, not long after FDR served 3 terms and died in his early 4th in 1945, and therefore it formally limited the terms a US president could serve to 2. Now, the reason presidents before FDR always limited themselves to 2 terms is because that was what George Washington did when he refused to run for a 3rd term. But until the 50s, not running for a 3rd term was merely a formality. Washington and Cleveland could have run for a 3rd term, but Reagan and Obama could never have done so. Must have sucked for Truman, but oh well. The 23rd Amendment established in 1961 the right for residents of Washington, D.C. to vote for the presidents of the United States. Before then, residents of D.C., as with territories today, could not vote for the president in the elections. Now, this is actually kind of part of the reason why D.C. has never voted Republican, since, unlike neighboring Maryland and Virginia, who have both voted Republican in the past, its streak doesn't go back to the colonial age. Unfortunately, people in D.C. and other territories do not have a voting representative in Congress, and citizens living in territories still cannot vote in the presidential election, but confusingly can vote in the primaries. The 24th Amendment in 1964 abolished the poll tax requirement in federal elections, which actually meant that a U.S. citizen could now still vote in elections even if they didn't pay any taxes, be they homeless or billionaire CEO. The 25th Amendment, filed out in 1967, established the presidential line of succession and what to do when a president was either killed or still alive but unable to serve. Considering what happened 4 years earlier and what was still happening then, it's hard to blame them for wanting to sort a few things out in advance, instead of making it all up as they go, what with the Red Scare and all that. The 26th Amendment, established by Nixon in 1971, lowered the age to vote from 21 to 18, which now meant that students could also vote for the president. And finally, the 27th Amendment was the most recent amendment, passed in 1992, and prohibits any law that increases the Congress's salary from taking effect until the start of the next set of terms. Yeah, it's not exactly the most glamorous, but I suppose that's what you get when you work somewhere where a pay raise would require the creation of the 28th Amendment.
That's all we have for today, Raiders. Be sure to catch up on all things Skyline by following us at Skynet Broadcasting. And to make sure you never miss an episode of your Skyline Scoop, you can sign up to receive mobile broadcasts by texting SKYN to 81010. Catch us every day at SkynetBroadcasting.org. I'm Katie J, and from here with everybody at Skynet Broadcasting, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.
It's such a nice